Doctor of Medicine Zach Bush from the States was visiting Toscany on a farm which is regenerative, and he was lecturing on his research, how he has found as a cancer researcher a clear connection with glyphosate and explosion of many diseases, autoimmune and cancer. And we had a very interesting lecture there, and we could visit the farm which is using methods from the 50s, and of their bread and pasta, even people with gluten intolerance don't get any symptoms, because as Zach Bush is saying, that it's actually intolerance for glyphosate, not gluten. In this report I will show his answer to a very important question I was stating to him.
I work with many regenerative farmers in different countries in Europe, and they love the soil, but they hate the weeds, and they try to get rid of them still by not tilling, not poisoning, and they are feeling like, how should we deal with this problem? And I don't see it as a problem, so the weeds are the best friend of others to me.
Yeah, so one of the first things to start changing our mindset towards anything in the human systems is realizing that there is nothing that's actually a weed, meaning something that's not good for us and is attacking us. The weeds that we have identified in the society are viruses, carbon dioxide, and the weeds of the farm. And so we love these stories that there's some part of nature attacking us and causing a problem. We need to go fight that problem, and then things will get better. Cancer is the problem. Diabetes is the problem. No, all of those are symptoms of a declining biosis, declining metabolism. Weeds come to a farm as a symptom of nutrient deficiency in the soil. Those are symptoms of a declining biosis, declining metabolism. When a farmer begins to leave the weeds in place for 2 or 3 years, the weed returns the nutrient to the soil that it's been lacking. So this farm is a good example of the journey that we're on in remembering how to do agriculture. So this is a farm that has stopped spraying and is plowing a lot. And the next step will be when they stop plowing and start seed drilling instead. To get down the weeds or the other cover that's on top that is not their cash crop, they're going to start using animals again. And so the grazing animal got removed from the farm 50 years ago. Stop spraying, and then we start really trying to attract as much biosis as possible. And so regenerative farmers, 5-10 years into the journey, start planting many species that will not be cash crop. And so we call these cover crops. And a lot of farmers in the US and other places are now using 30 species seed mixes so that it's clovers and peas and vetch and all of these different types of plants are in the mix between the crops, either between the seasons or literally between the rows of crops. So the goal is to have no bare earth, always more species, more species, more species, and then you bring the animals back. And you can build a meter of topsoil over a 10 or 20 year period if you have cattle, sheep, and chickens that are rotating very quickly across the land. And so the journey that we are on as a humanity is a process of experiential learning because our education systems have failed us completely. And so we need to move farmers, physicians, engineers, nurses, doctors back into a situation of experiential learning where they are encouraged to make observation and then adapt. Make observation and then adapt. None of that will happen on the farm until each of you and I take radical responsibility for the things that we have called weeds in our life. It's very often that we begin to feel that the people that are closest to us, that we have vowed the most love to, begin to be treated in our lives as if they are weeds, that they are sucking energy out of us, rather than realizing that they were put in our space for us to widen our connections, to create the biosis. And so is there an opportunity to reconsider your own parents and children and spouse and workmates and all of these people as part of your biotic environment? Most of the movement of conscious communities have been treating everybody as if they are weeds. And so they're trying to sterilize their way of thinking. And we do this all over the place. We are all guilty of this. We sterilize our environment until it's only people that think like us. And once we have finally sterilized our idea landscape, we lose our identity, because the only identity we understood was to be anti the other thing, anti the other ideas. And as we start to lose our identity, we panic and decide that it's everybody around us that's causing the feeling inside of us, and we destroy them. So there's an opportunity for us to all really challenge ourselves radically this week of how do I allow I'd offer a possibility that to be conscious, to be a conscious species, we will have to open our aperture until we can feel joy and unconditional love at the same time that we can feel fear, guilt, and shame.
Stories often feels like this.
They don't return.
That's a very good